Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Arabic Khatawaat. This is our 9th day of the daily Arabic vocabulary live study sessions. We're going to begin shortly as we wait for other participants to join. In today's session, we're going to follow the same learning steps that we have acquired in the past 8 days. We were looking at Modern Standard Arabic, known as MSA or Fusha, by using two resources. The first one was Diplomacy Arabic, and then Standard Arabic, an introduction or an elementary intermediate course. Both of them have introductory phrases as well as basic vocabulary that we could use regularly in our conversations. In our sessions, we followed 5 steps as we were learning 5 different words. The learning steps were as the following. First, we select 5 words from any resource. You don't have to rely on the books that we're using, but this is just the approach that you could apply. The second part was we copied and traced the words using a whiteboard, have a pen and paper, or whatever you have accessible around you, your phone, your smartphone, tablet, whatever is available. Then we mark any foreign or new sounds, as well as the short cases and how different the meaning might be if we misplace certain short cases. The fourth step, and this is my favorite, as everybody got engaged in the live chats the past 8 days, we would like for you as well to engage with this streaming as we look at possible vocabulary that shares the same context of the 5 words we select. After that, everybody engages in the live Arabic chat where you would take your time to trace the words again, or type in using an Arabic keyboard, place English and Arabic vocabulary as we form our sentences. Remember, if you have access to an Arabic keyboard, you could use it. If not, you can try to trace your words and then submit them via Facebook or Instagram for us to look at. And then we will send you our feedback. The words that we've selected for today, we'll reintroduce them all at once, and then we're going to break down our learning session or our study session by learning each word separately, where we could be looking at the scenario, possible similar sounds, and the same approach that we've been using. So we'll read first mushtarak. The first word we have is mushtarak. 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 Second one, عامل. عامل. عمال. عمال. مشترك. مشترك. And I'm placing fatha over here for you to make it very clear. So this is one of the sounds that we could mispronounce. Right here we have ra. If we ever find a word where the ra is pronounced as ri, mushta, ri, so this is ri, mushtarik, this one would have a different meaning, which is participant or subscriber. Or subscriber, like mushtarik fil qanat, the subscribing or a subscriber in the channel. This word over here with fatha, it means common or joint mutual. All of these are possible synonyms. The second word we have is عامل. عامل. The plural form is عمال for worker. عامل could be used to mean worker, but we also use it as a factor. So when we say it's one of the main factors. So the word factor in this example that I just gave one of the main factors. عامل من العوامل المهمة. And we will look at examples where we could use the word factor. The third example we have تعاون. تعاون, cooperation. تعاون. Then we have قسم. قسم, أقسام, department or section. Then we have إمكانية. إمكانية, possibility. Let's look at each word separately, but before we're going to highlight those sounds that we said might give us different meanings. As we copy and trace these words, we're going to note that this one is ra, مشترك, مشترك. Then we have عامل, عمال, and عمال is the plural of worker. If I'm going to say عامل as factor, like the word I said earlier, one of the main factors. So عامل is factor. Factors are عوامل. And now the plural is going to be different. Workers is عمال, but factors عوامل. The third one is تعاون. تعاون, cooperation. And the verb to cooperate or to help, we would say ساعد or عاون. ساعد, ساعد or عاون. The fourth one we have قسم and أقسام. In some dialects, قسم could mean صف, like class, but literally it's section and department. We could say قسم الترجمة, translation department, or the department of translation. قسم اللغات, department of languages. إمكانية, possibility. And we could say there is a possibility. هناك إمكانية. And إمكانية could also mean means. Like, I don't have the means to do this. ليست عندي الإمكانية أو إمكانية. The third step I'd like to focus on, and this is in the second learning category, is we highlight those sounds that we said might give us different meanings. When we say عامل, عامل, we are referring to عين. Many students might confuse, especially the beginner level, they might confuse عين with ألف. ألف is an A sound, but عين does not have any equivalent sound in English. So as you're saying عامل, make sure you're saying the A, not the A. عامل. This is not the pronunciation, but we would say A, A. Same for قاف and kaf. We have a lot of students that confuse قاف and kaf because kaf is K in English, but qaf has no equivalence. As you're saying قسم for department, you're saying the q, and we refer to it as Q. عامل, you might see an apostrophe to refer to a. Take notes as you mark those sounds. So keep notes, instructions on how to say such sounds, and this can be personalized depending on what you are aware of. So make sure that you personalize your own learning or your learning. Make it only adaptable or accessible for you. That way you can resonate with the lessons. The other part that we focus on, which is the fourth step. The fourth step is we think of possible vocabulary that shares the same context or scenario. Now we're going to look at all the 5 words. And please make sure you trace as you learn all of this. So the first example we said is مشترك. What are some of the sentences you could make? What sentences can you make? can you make using the word مشترك? مشترك. With this word. So I could say something, I'll write my example, then you can type in the chat box your examples. What sentences can you make with this word مشترك? I will go to factor and I can say عامل مشترك. عامل مشترك. عامل مشترك is like a common aspect or a common factor, but you would also use it as a common denominator. So you could say common factor or a common denominator. And I could think of like I can think of مشترك. الحياة. Here is life. الحياة مشتركة, shared. مشتركة. And here I'm using feminine for mutual. مشتركة or shared. Life is shared. Some other examples, and we're going to look at the chat box in the replay live chat. We could think of something like what? So we said الحياة مشتركة, life is shared. عندي غرفة مشتركة. I have a shared room. That means I have a roommate. مشتركة. مشترك. As we write مشترك, so this is مشترك is common or mutual or joint. So this is like a joint room. عندي غرفة مشتركة. I have a joint room. And I could think of any other possible scenarios that I could have with مشترك. مشترك. And the common word we usually use with مشترك is عامل مشترك, common factor. عامل مشترك, common factor. Let's look at different words or examples with مشترك. So we said مشترك is common. Now مشترك. مشترك. مشترك جديد, new participant or new subscriber. مشترك جديد. The verb for مشترك, participant, and to participate is اشترك. اشترك. And you can say something like how could you say, let me just ask this. How would you say I participated or subscribed in a channel? Let's make it more of related to the virtual learning. اشترك. So I could say اشترك في القناة. اشترك في القناة. اشترك في القناة means he subscribed to the channel. So this would be he subscribed to the channel. So he subscribed to the channel. And you can say something like شاركت في مسابقة. I participated in a competition. شاركت. This is the past. شاركت. So here we have اشترك and then we have شارك. So شارك, you could use it to refer to share and also to participate. And I could say شاركت, I participated. شاركت in مسابقة. If someone can type in مسابقة and also give the English translation. مسابقة. مسابقة. مسابقة is more of a competition. To compete, I think competition. Okay, should check. Yeah, hey, there we go. Competition. And then we would say شاركت في حفل. I participated in a party. حفل. We learned this word before, so it's حفل, party, or celebration. And these are just possible ways you could find, or a scenario you could think of when you say مشترك, common, but here مشترك, participant, or subscriber, like we said here. So let's go to the next one. عامل. 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 هو يعمل. عامل في مصنع. And here I'm using the word I learned in the 8th class or the 8th session. مصنع, factory. And يعمل works, so he works. عامل, as a worker. So he works as a worker in a factory. Right here you're using يعمل and it shares the exact same root عمل for working. So it would be عامل, worker, and then يعمل, works. Let's look at the third example. So the third word we have is تعاون, and I could think of a sentence that would begin like this. التعاون, cooperation. التعاون سمة. سمة, it means characteristic. سمة جيدة, good characteristic. التعاون سمة جيدة. And we could say سمة or ميزة, another word for good characteristic. التعاون سمة جيدة or ميزة جيدة. Now think of possible sentences you could make with the word تعاون. تعاون. أحب التعاون. I love cooperation. أحب أن أتعاون. And now we're thinking of the verb تعاون. So now as we look for another example, look here, we noted that the short cases give us different meanings. So here we have تعاون, but if we say تعاون with فتحة, so this is wa and this one is wu. تعاون is he cooperated or he helped someone. تعاون معه. But here is a noun. Over here is a verb. So let's clear and write again. التعاون على, cooperate on something or around something. التعاون على الخير, cooperating on good or goodness, and I'm giving you the literal meaning. الخير, good deed. التعاون على الخير صدقة. Cooperating on good acts or good deeds, صدقة, is charity or charitable work. صدقة. التعاون, cooperation. And it goes with على, on, or around, or about. So these are just the literal meanings of على. The example that we thought of initially, we said التعاون سمة جيدة. التعاون سمة or ميزة. Let's just use the word. We could use both of them. ميزة. التعاون سمة or ميزة جيدة. Good characteristic. Then the verb تعاون, and watch how I'm writing this one. تعاون. تعاون is he cooperated, and this is a verb. So I would say تعاون, help or cooperate. تعاون مع. تعاون مع أخيك. أخيك. تعاون مع أخيك. Then I would say على. On what? Cooperate with your brother on what? And you can bring this part of the sentence and say تعاون مع أخيك على الخير. And I can pause here. تعاون مع أخيك على الخير. I'll rewrite this sentence again. So I could say تعاون مع أخيك على الخير. Cooperate with your brother on good deeds. And if I'm asking or I'm addressing a female, I would say تعاوني, and instead of أخيكي, I would say أختكي if I'm changing all the words to feminine. And I would say تعاوني مع أختكي, أختكي, and then nothing changes when we say on good deeds or around good deeds or about. I'm just giving you the literal meaning of على. Around or about. Let's look at another example as we move on to the fourth word. The fourth word is قسم, and the plural would be أقسام. And I can say قسم, قسم الأدب, the department of literature or the section of literature. قسم الأدب. قسم الترجمة, department or the section. الترجمة, the department of translation. So الأدب, literature, and then الترجمة, translation. And I could say something like أدرس. Sorry if I'm giving you a different loop of dal. Here, I'll write slowly. أدرس العلوم, sciences, في قسم أدرس العلوم في قسم الرياضيات, in the math department. Or I could say أدرس الرياضيات. Here I should say أدرس الرياضيات, math, في قسم العلوم, sciences. أدرس العلوم في قسم الرياضيات. أدرس الرياضيات في قسم العلوم. So it all depends on what you are doing, but you would use department for قسم. Department. And قسم. قسم, here as we are learning فتحة and kasra, قسم, قسم is more of oath. قسم, like oath. قسم. So أؤدي القسم is like I perform oath or I take an oath. So قسم, قسم. And if we say قسم, that means divide. So as you're learning, try to be careful with which word you are referring to by articulating the sounds. So here we say قسم, and you could say قسم, but this one would never take un at the end because it's a verb and it rhymes with فعل. This one is قسم. This is قسم as department, and this is a noun, and قسم as oath, and this is also a noun. But قسم has kasra, قسم has فتحة, and قسم divide. Both or all three letters have فتحة, قسم. So I'll rewrite these three verbs again, or words again. We said قسم, قسم, and then قسم. This one would mean department. Then قسم is divide. And then قسم or قسم, that's oath. Let's move on to the fifth one. Then we're going to learn how we could place those words in sentences by observing what's going to take place in the live chat when everyone is forming their own phrases. إمكانية. إمكانية. إمكانية is possibility. And I could think, here I'll write it here, possibility. I can say I can't do something. لا يمكنني. I cannot. لا يمكنني. I cannot. لا يمكنني. ليست. Oh, عفوا. I have to say ليست. ليست عندي إمكانية, and then I would say إمكانية what? The possibility to do. ليست عندي إمكانية السفر. I don't have the possibility to travel or traveling. But sometimes إمكانية would refer to means. Like I don't have the means or the possibility to travel or traveling. So I would say لا يمكنني السفر. I can just say لا يمكنني and add السفر to it. So here I could say, as I was saying, لا يمكنني, and then say السفر. I cannot travel. Or I could say ليست عندي إمكانية السفر. ليست عندي إمكانية السفر. And I'll stress the y over here. إمكانية. إمكانية السفر. The verb that could go with إمكانية is we say تمكن. He was able to. تمكن. تمكن من. تمكن من السفر. He was able to travel. تمكن من السفر. He was able to. And here we're addressing masculine. And if it was a female, we would say تمكنت من السفر. She was able. So this one, تمكن, be able. I'll just squeeze it here. Be able to travel. تمكن من السفر. تمكن من السفر. Let's move on to our last step. And if you have any questions, please make sure you place them in the comment section. That way we can review them on our 10th day live session. Now, since all of you have acquired this routine of typing in the live chat in Arabic, please continue to do so on your 9th live session. Use the YouTube live chat and type in Arabic. If you have an Arabic keyboard, it would help you look at the script. If you don't have it, you can match this keyboard to your keyboard as well, or you can download or add Arabic language to your device. So what you could do to practice, and we'll leave this session for a longer time, that way everyone can participate in the live chat. Try to use مشترك or مشترك in sentences. عامل, تعاون, قسم, and then إمكانية. Remember, مشترك is joint or common. عامل, worker. تعاون, cooperation. قسم, department. And إمكانية, possibility. What you could do, as we said, follow these steps. Use the live chat to type in your sample sentences in Arabic. So when I say sample sentences, I mean examples. And rewrite the words in Arabic and English in the live chat as well. Then use your YouTube super chats to mark your messages. If you'd like to have a special icon for your YouTube super chat, you can have that available, or purchase a special super chat icon. So please make sure you type in, you say the words, you use them in examples. Thank you so much for your engagement, and I will see you on our 10th day, and we'll make it a live interactive session. Please make sure that you go over all the steps, the 5 steps that we learned today. 5 steps to learn and acquire vocabulary from different resources. We shared that with you, and hopefully we'll make all of these words accessible on a PDF as well as a file, downloadable file. Thank you so much for joining today, and I will see you tomorrow, inshallah, same time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Assalamu alaikum.